everyone, today I thought I would make a start and show you my technique for colouring this page. This is from Millie Marotta's Secrets of the Sea, and I'm not going to tell you the name of this bird because of its name. It's written in the back of the book, and I've got a picture of it in front of me to help me colour it. But the name of it could lead me to be censored by YouTube, so I'm not going to say it or even write it down. So this is going to be a I'm not sure what I'm going to call it in my description, but it won't be called its proper name. There may be a Latin name or something I can use, something like that. So with Millie, she gives us lots of little detailed bits to colour, and I think sometimes it's a bit tricky to know exactly what to do with that, so I thought I would show you. I am going to zoom in a little bit, and it helps with the colour and the focus as well. Okay, so I'm going to sort of start around the beak eye area of the bird. Yeah, and I'm using my Castle Arts today. It doesn't really matter what you use. The colour we need first is a slightly muted yellow. Which way can you see this? The Primrose Yellow this is. And there's a little bit at the end of the beak of the bird, and I'm thinking it's probably this area here, which is a yellow. Now you could just colour it all in yellow, but I thought what would be quite fun was to have a look at Millie's lines and sort of do some shading within them. So what I'm going to do here is colour more layers here on the outside and less towards the middle. So we've just got a little bit of shine. It's the way I would colour a leaf or something like that, and I think it just gives it a little bit of interest. We can do slightly different styles for different bits of the bird. Now here, this bit is one block. So I'm going to sort of ignore the lines there. I'm going to not ignore that centre line, but I'm sort of going to go all the way around here and down the centre with a hard application or lots of layers, and then fade that towards the middle a little bit and leave a little bit of white paper. It's quite a pale colour, so it's a little bit tricky to see, but hopefully you can get the idea of what I'm doing. So harder around the edge, across that middle bit, and then less around here. Okay, I'm just looking at my picture as a reference guide. Right, let's finish that. I'm just going to sweep off the bits a little bit. Okay, now the beak and the feathers are all black, so it's quite a dark bird, and the eye. What I've decided to do is, because the beak is slightly lighter in the photograph that I am using as a guide, I'm trying to get the whole of the beak in shot, but I can't. I don't think that's the end there. It's almost in shot. I can't, my tripod's in the way. So I'm going to use my Cool Grey Deep, which is my darkest grey I've got in my set of Castle Arts. This is 72 set. I do have a Payne's Grey somewhere, which will probably be better, but anyway, it's this is what I've got to hand. So for the beak, I'm going to take that bit to be the top, up to this yellow section, and then probably up and underneath there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is similar to what I did before. So with this shape, I'm going to go all the way around the edge like that in lots of layers, and then fade towards the middle. This is a quicker technique if you've got a pencil that is vibrant. If you were using something hard like a Staedtler Ergosoft or a Polychromos, you'd have to do a lot of layers. Now that can be great fun, but it all depends how long you've got and how long you want to be spending on colouring your picture. So this one is going to be done in a similar way. So basically, rather than doing just a whole block of one colour, which you could do, I'm just trying something a little bit different for this. and then as I go round towards the centre, I do less layers, so the centre part is quite empty. I'm just darkening up the edges to try and emphasize that contrast from edge to centre. Now you could use several different shades, starting with a darker shade on the outside and a lighter one in the middle. I find it easier to keep hold of the same pencil all the time. With these longer parts, I'm just going to do it dark at each end and then fade towards the middle. I think that's easier because it's so narrow. I think it would be difficult to do it the other way, so I'm just making it easy for myself. And the same here. And then we've got this really long one. I can't see the bottom of my screen, so I've got no idea how much you can see. I can only see to here. I know you can see a bit more, but I can't. I'm not sure how far. So I'm hoping you might be able to see the bottom of that. I just don't know. And I can't move my book, as I say, the tripod's in the way. The problem with these slightly bigger books is that they take up a lot of room. My camera, the position of my camera means that I have to have things quite far back. So again, dark here, build up those layers, and then less towards the middle. So that's my beak. I'm wondering, just looking, this bit here on the bird, put it down here. So I'm going to continue, obviously, with this same colour all the way through here and on this underside of the beak and up to there and there, using the same method. But this bit here is just very slightly lighter, so I'm going to use the lighter grey. I've got a cool grey, which is just cool grey rather than cool grey deep. I'll show you. It's just the cool grey. Oh, it's very bright. I don't know if that helps. And I'm just going to do that section with this cool grey. So it's only going to have that one section, and it should be a little bit lighter. There isn't a huge difference between these two, but a little bit. There we go. Now, I'm going to do the eye next. Now, the eye, I'm looking at the bird. Now, the centre is really, really, really black. So very, very black. So I've done a couple of layers, and I'm going to burnish that with this Derwent Burnisher, because I want it to really be very black. Okay, now around the eye in the picture there's nothing, it just looks the same as the inside, and it's a bit of a lighter black. So I'm going to do a light layer like this. So I'm holding my pencil a little bit further down the barrel so that I can angle it and put less pressure on it to get that lighter colour, and I'm trying to make it even just by going over it. Okay, now our beak, where was it? It was going to cut, just only going to come up to there. Yeah. So the rest of the bird is now black. Okay, I've got the black in my hand. This is actually called Ivory Black. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that, if the light just blinds you. And I'm going to use the same technique as I have for all of these bits. But particularly near here, we want to make sure that it looks different. So you need to make sure you really layer it down so it looks black. I've decided that I'm going to call this European Waterbird because it is a European, that's part of its name. And don't you go putting in the comments the name of the bird, because then I still might get banned or might have my wrist slapped by YouTube. So you can see that the difference between that and that, which is good. And basically I'm just going to continue doing the rest of the bird with this technique and in the black. I realise I got the beak to finish as well, which isn't going to be in the black, but just keep going with it really, and enjoy. It's quite relaxing using the same colour all the time. For me, I know some people find it a little bit tedious, but I find it's much quicker and relaxing. You don't have to keep worrying about picking colours all the time. You know, you can just keep going, and you can see I could have finished this video now, but I'm just going a bit longer because I'm actually on my lunch break recording a couple of videos. I should be working, so obviously I'd rather be colouring than doing that. I'm going out the lines now because I'm talking and rushing a little bit. But it doesn't hurt because it's all the same colour, so you can just incorporate it into the next bit. Like that. And I'm just going to carry on and finish the whole bird. I'm not going to do that on camera, as I said, it's going to take a long time. But I will show you some of the different elements and how I'm going to tackle them. So we have these little feathery bits here. And what I'm going to do with those, I'm just going to sharpen my pencil a little bit to show you. Now they overlap each other, so I think a good way, let me see if I can zoom in a little more for you. There we go. So a good way is to start with your darkest layer here on this part of the feather, and then fade it towards the tip. So I'm doing less layers, and the same with this one. And then when we start this one, it's darker here where they touch, and then lighter at the tip. And it just looks like these two have created a little bit of shadow on this one because they're sitting on top of it. So you can just do that all the way through with your little feathers. Those two I realise are darker than these two. It's quite hard for me to see, the light's glaring off the shiny pencil. So there's quite a large area of that. This bit around the eye, I will do lighter at one end, darker at each end, sorry, a bit lighter in the middle. Do that all the way around, the same with this piece. Now this is a whole solid piece, but I might treat it like this one. So I'll treat those dotted lines as if they were a whole line and do it like that. We have more lines again. I'll probably do that a little bit harder and then lighter, darker at each end and lighter in the middle in the same way. Sorry, I knocked my tripod. Now this bit is quite tricky to know what to do with than this bit. I think for this bit, it looks like a rainbow, doesn't it? It's fab. I will do it darker here at this end and lighter in the centre, and then darker here. So the same on each one really of this. And we could do the same on these, but I think because of the way they're overlapping, I'd probably be more tempted, can you see? Yeah. To start off darker at the bottom here, all the way around, like that, and then do less as I go up towards the edge. And as you can see, if you don't press too hard, you can still see Millie's lines through, which is nice. You've got that pretty lined effect still showing. So there, we're darker and lighter, and obviously that needs a fair bit of work to just even out that colour. Because it's a big area, it's harder to get it even, I find. But it's just a matter of working at it. Just look at those lighter areas and go over them a little bit. Draw that colour gently out towards the edge. Like that. And that's a little bit better. I will work on that more. Let's do one of these feathers. Sorry for that horrible noise. It's because I've got a piece of paper under the page, it's too big. Now I'm thinking for this bit, I'll probably do this bit lighter. So I'm still in black because it's all black still, but then do this part here darker that's against that, whatever that is, the centre of the feather, and then make it lighter towards the edge. Like that, and then repeat that for each of them, and hopefully it will help to give them some separation and some shape. I'd like to have that a little bit more graduated, like that. Okay, are there any other strips? Oh, yeah. As we get to up here, we've got these shapes. I think with these I might treat them as if they were a large feather, so make them darker here and lighter here on each piece. So these are dark, and I might do the same with this piece, so it's darker in here and then lighter towards where it hits the next bit, and then make this bit dark and lighter as it goes up here. I'm doing this quite roughly, but hopefully you can get the idea, so you can see the contrast. Obviously I want to make that more even, and the best way is to just go over it a few times. If you're doing it slower, you may not need to do a few layers. It's just because I'm doing it a little bit too quickly. I can't really see either. Better off looking in the camera than not. So that goes up the next. I'm not going to be able to show you the top. Oh, there we go. If we angle it a little bit. So most of these are the same. This one I probably do darker down at the bottom and lighter towards the edge, and just ignore that line, I think, and I probably ignore that line and do that darker and then lighter up there. For these, I would make them darker here where they are near the other items, and a nice light bit across the middle of each. And I think we've covered most of it now, so I'm going to go away. I'm going to finish this off at some point. Unfortunately it won't be right now because I've got to get on with some work, but and he looks rather odd. He really wants to be finished, doesn't he? But anyway, I'm going to I might do another quick video and then do some work, and I will finish him off and take a photo so that you can see what he looks like when he's done. So I think he's going to look quite smart. I hope so. So there we go. I might put a little white dot in his eye. I haven't decided yet. See how he looks when he's done. But and I'm not going to do a background because he's black. I think he's just going to stand out really well from the white page, so I'm not going to do a background on this one. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, and happy colouring.